Okay. So welcome to our roundtable for AC478. I am Sasha Demian, the MBCEA Executive Director. Dan Halmy is chair of our accreditation committee, and his company, Halmy Builders, has been AC478 accredited over 7 years. At some point, I'm going to have to update that. We might be at 8, I don't know, 9. Jackie Maluda assists us in program management for the MBCEA, and she is the one that will meet with you as you prepare to apply for accreditation. So we're going to take just a few minutes first thing and introduce the program to those of you who may be brand new to it. So a majority of all metal building systems are supplied by manufacturers who are members of the MBMA. Now, the MBMA mandates that member companies achieve and maintain AC 472, an accreditation with an established criteria toward which each firm demonstrates that they have the personnel, organization, experience, knowledge, quality procedures, and commitment to fabricate in accordance with specified procedures.
Until the introduction of AC 478, there was nothing similar that established a criteria for assemblers. MBCEA members were looking for a way to differentiate themselves from the bad actors that are poorly trained, unsafe, but often the lowest bid. We recognized that when structures fail or people get hurt during assembly, the entire industry suffers. This accreditation establishes an industry standard to identify those players doing the right thing that are committed to safety, training, and quality. For the first time in history, manufacturers and directors now have complementary accreditation programs for metal building projects that will help assure the most high quality commercial buildings.
AC 478 assures owners that the erector they have chosen follows a comprehensive, quality-driven metal building assembly program that is assessed annually. To achieve AC 478 accreditation, companies must maintain the following: a documented safety program and training program, a documented management system, on-site job site assessments, job site specific plans, annual internal audits and management reviews to ensure continuous improvement.
The program brings much needed rigor and discipline to a somewhat chaotic industry. But with all things new, there is some apprehension, and that is why we host these sessions and we put together a robust support system in the members only area and consultative support with Jackie. Now, you don't need to be a member of the MBCEA to apply for accreditation, but only members get our support. And so we wanted to start off the roundtable this time showing you first where to find those resources and what those resources are, and then open up. So let me stop this video and I'm going to go to our website. So hopefully you have an account already on our website. If you do not, that's the first thing you need to get. You go to the members section, members only area. And then you click here to access member resources. AC 478 accreditation is the first one. So accreditation resources right there. First thing you want to take note of is Jackie's email address. If you have not spoken to Jackie yet, I encourage that be your first thing. So send her an email, let her know you are interested, let her know what stage you're at. She will schedule some time to meet with you to go over what you have put together. What she often finds, as she can discuss as we answer questions, is that many of you have all of the pieces. She can just help you kind of pull them all together and get them organized to apply. But there's a lot of great information here that we encourage you to review as you prepare for applying for accreditation. If you go back to that, the link to all of the roundtable recordings is here, and we try to describe what it is we spoke about. So there may be times where you'll ask Jackie or you'll ask Dan a question, And they may say, hey, go back to that May 15th roundtable and watch that. We talked all about the site-specific plan during that roundtable. So we encourage you, if you're stuck on one particular part, to come here to the roundtable recordings and see if we've covered it already, and you may get the answer to your question. And then we have marketing pieces. So if you are still needing more information, we have a public-facing AC478 page under About with a lot of information as well. But this brochure for contractors and erectors really gives you, this is from the IAS, more information about the program. And then once you are accredited and you want to share marketing pieces with other people, that's what these are. So we have them for building officials and we have them for architects. We also have an AIA presentation that the IAS put together that talks about metal buildings, AC 472, and AC 478. And they allow you to download that and present that. So you can do your own educating. The link to the recorded webinar is here. So if you want to see how it's presented as you are preparing to present it, you have that sample there. The other items that we have additional architect resources as we talk about speaking with architects. We do have access to other AIA presentations if you will be speaking with architects. So you can find that information here. There are a number of documents, templates that our members over the years have provided for your use. So we strongly encourage you to look through that documents and templates section. So some of the things that are required in the criteria, we have templates here for you, so you don't have to recreate them. I encourage you to go through the whole members area, but that's a whole other roundtable. But anyway, as far as this is concerned, you're going to find a lot of, those are the very specific resources you're looking for accreditation. What we do for accredited members, while I have you and I'm showing you the website, we do put together a press release for you, send it to you for you to tweak it, add your specific information to it. We send it out for you and then send it back to you to send out yourself as well. Featured listing, when you go to the member directory, you may have seen that the first responses to any filter or sort that you do on the member directory, you're always seeing AC 478 accredited members first. That is on purpose. We will put AC 478 accredited after your name in your company. You will always show up first. That's considered a featured listing. And more information that you complete in your company profile is going to be displayed in this member directory. So things like a directory gallery, your social media posts, and links to that. So you'll see a difference if you take a look at what their directory listings look like versus standard ones. Your logo is on the homepage of the MBCEA website. As you scroll down, you'll see all accredited members. Scroll across our homepage as well. Oh, and one more other fun thing I noted is that we have a special cocktail hour at conference. So many of our members have already signed up for that at our April conference in Colorado Springs. It's just another kind of special time where we recognize you and get together. So that is my spiel for everything I wanted to throw at you at once. And now I'll turn it over to Dan.
Thanks, Sasha. So, yeah, there's a lot there, and we can continue going over those pieces as well. And if you contact Jackie regarding your accreditation, a lot of those resources will be reiterated again to you, the templates and documents and stuff. So don't feel like you got to remember all of it, but it is on the recording, so you can always go back and listen again. So I'm going to make a few introductions. Hopefully I don't miss anybody, but accredited members that are on the call that are here to help with us today. We have David Leinbach, accredited for quite a few years, 10 years probably. We got Tucker Cope with C. Tucker Cope. Joe Allen is on the call. Thomas Phoenix as well, been accredited for quite a few years. Anybody I'm forgetting, Jackie?
David Thye was accredited at his last
Oh,
company,
yeah,
is working to get his new company
that's
accredited.
correct.
So,
He's been through the process. Thanks, David, for joining us. And Sarah Toth is also on the accreditation committee. She's with us as well today. Um, But from there, we have quite a few people on the call that are, I'm sure, here trying to gather information that are interested in becoming accredited. Um, and what I'd like to do is allow you to have a little bit of a time to um, jump in and introduce yourself and talk about where you are in the process or what your roadblocks or questions might be, how we can help you. We don't have any specific thing today or theme that we're tackling. It's really all about you and what your roadblocks are. So um, I'm
to
going to allow you to jump in first if there's ones that want to get ahead of the line. Otherwise, I might call you out and ask how things are going. So
and Dan, I just wanted to point out, I did load a few questions that I either received specifically or are common questions
you
in the
want to
chat.
tackle
So,
those first? We
so
can
if
definitely.
anyone wants to add to the chat, feel free to do so. But that first question about subs and use of subcontractors is always a good one to for you accredited members to talk about how you deal with it.
Yeah, we can jump into that one first. So in the chat, if everybody's opens their chat bar, you can kind of see the questions that are there. This particular question, it might even came from one of you on the call, but there was a question about a company that only uses subcontractors, and they were curious if they could get accredited in that circumstance where they have a significant role as a supplier, as a builder, but they are not doing any of the field work themselves. And the simple answer to that is accreditation still does apply. The criteria does have a full layout on how subcontractors can be utilized. Um, the criteria does say that you have to hold your subcontractors to the same standard and that you have to have a process to identify how you're going to do that. So going back to the question that yes, it does apply and it does work. There are several members that we have accredited that they do not have any employees that do erection, but they do have processes that allow them to hold the subcontractors accountable to the same standards. Um, that is something that is done by your company. We don't have a template for that that I know of, right, Jackie? We have never templated anything on that. Everybody operates a little differently, and I don't think a template would really be the best thing for you because it's something that you should write as a process, your own company, on how you're going to maintain control over subcontractors and make sure they adhere to the standards. Also, the criteria does indicate that if you are accredited and you use subcontractors for any substantial amount of the assembly, that you will notify the owner of that circumstance, that you are accredited, but you are using subcontractors. So that is a letter and a process you also would do with your customer. But that process has to exist as well within your company.
And I just added the actual criteria up with the two clauses, 4.2.5 and 4.2.6.
And those are both a part of your assessment, and they will be looked at by your IAS assessor and determine whether or not it meets the criteria or if there's other work that needs to be done to make that effective. But back to this is that it is definitely something that can be done, and it is applicable to get accredited without having any of your own employees do the assembly. Is there any further questions on that? I don't know if the one that was on the call or the one that asked the question was on the call because I think that got submitted by email. But if that's a sufficient answer to that, or if you have more questions, I'd love to hear any comments. Or even from the accredited members, if you have some other examples or thoughts.
Yeah, so this is Kevin Andrew from Metal Building Industries here in Tulsa. I'm the one that submitted that question. The nature of our business, we're a brand new MBCEA member, so I'm still in like the discovery process of kind of what's going on here. We design the buildings, we engineer the buildings, we have them fabricated for us at an IAS certified facility, and then we manage the installation. So we do not have our own crew that's doing the installation, but we do maintain a staff of superintendents that oversee that as a way of ensuring our quality and progress and things like that. So, I'm trying to figure out if this is the correct certification for us to pursue, given kind of that focus of our business.
Well, I can
Go ahead,
comment
Joe.
on that. One of the contractors that we work for frequently has none of his own employees. He might have had one or two supervisors in the field, but he sold Butler Buildings and got the accreditation and used us. And because we're his primary erector, that was easy for him, right? He could very easily fulfill that requirement to notify whether or not you're using an accredited erector because he uses us all the time. We, on the other hand, have a steady subcontractor that we don't allow, well, rarely we use them for an entire assembly. We use subcontractors all the time for travel work, for overflow. And as long as they're not, the text of that code is a significant, what does it say? Significant, all or a significant portion of an assembly. So most of the time that doesn't bother us because our crews are the majority and we're using subcontractors as assistive labor. In your case, it would work, but it would be similar to us going to a general contractor that has further requirements than even the AC478. Sometimes there's some, I don't want to say silly, but some things that are non-standard that are requirements for other contractors. You would implement policies in your own procedures to reflect the same thing as if you were performing the work, where you would have your own QC list since you have your own supervisors. This whole thing is about kind of about the paperwork that you are doing the safety training, that you're doing the inspections, that you have systems to ensure at least a certain level of proficiency and quality control in place. So if you have those, you require the trainings that are listed in the accreditation, and you do your own paperwork to do the QC stuff. There's no reason it doesn't work exactly the same. You just need to make them submit and make sure that the people they're using are trained. You can still claim that you are an accredited member. You would probably have to uh, explain to the people that you're working for, people you sold the building to, that you are contracting out that labor, but they're held to the same standards. And here's our accreditation to prove it. We are using the same quality control measures and the same training measures as required in the standard, but you would probably have to notify unless you specifically hired a sub that was AC478 accredited. And for that matter, I would encourage you, if you use a sub all the time, to get them accredited. It benefits everybody and it will take some of that off your plate. So that's my comments on it.
Yeah, no, we do a lot of explaining because our business model is very unique. So that's I just wanted to make sure it wasn't ruled out in its entirety. Because some of these certifications have very bright red lines around certain things, and I was just trying to figure out if that's one of them.
So, I mean, just to reemphasize what Joe was saying, the goal of the program is honesty and fairness. Like we want it to level the playing field. So we put enough guardrails in there that you can't sub out to the type of people that we're trying to keep out of the program, like,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, and
but not to conflict with your business model. So as long as we're keeping everything above board,
To reinforce that, it is at least at the level that we're at. So we generally run about 50 of our own guys, but sometimes we have 100 in the field. Um, Whether or not there are there's a lot of other accredited and non-accredited companies that we work for, we subcontract with, or two sometimes. At our level, which is a fairly high level, we we collaborate with other erectors from the MBCEA all the time. It's very free. Tucker's on the call. Um, we are currently working with him in a job in West Virginia, and he might be able to tell you the difference between the accredited company like us that he's worked with on a job like that versus people that are not and don't have that level of organization. And it's kind of a night and day difference, especially to the bigger companies. So the more that we are working with uh, the big national contractors, the more they're starting to see that it does make a big difference if somebody has the accreditation or not.
Yeah. No, we hold so we're not just kind of blind subbing this out to folks. We've got a select group that, we're maybe 70% of their business. And we impose a lot of standards on them already. So I suspect I haven't done a thoughtful reading of the requirements, but I suspect there's a lot of overlap in things we're already doing. So good to hear that that's an option. Thank you.
And then,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, I was just going to add one more thing to that. For the erectors on the call, um, if you become accredited and your GC who is not accredited is bidding on a project that requires it, it can help you be selected because then he can submit his bid with your name already on there. So more marketing for you.
Yeah, this is Tucker. We have both our own crews and we sub work out, so we kind of have to live on both sides of the fence of what you're doing. And they set up this AC478 to try to create standards, right? Basically, and try to keep the guy from an unqualified guy without a pickup truck going out and putting these buildings up. And that's kind of the basic guardrails. This is relatively new, is in its infancy. And as you get involved, you can help guide it as we all guide down through all the different issues. But the group is very open to discussions, very open to correcting things if they think there's too much of an overreach as a group or a committee. But the ultimate goal is to have a better group of people putting up these complex buildings.
Yeah,
And fully supportive of that idea.
Yeah, and I just want to jump in, Dave Linebuck. So we're a mix. We're GC. We have some erection, but it's really to boil it down. It's really about your processes, which it sounds like you have. But your process, and you're doing the right thing because you need to have a project super, full-time project super on site that's observing the crews, working with the crews, making sure that they're doing it. So your process is you have to have insurance. That means your subs have to have insurance, and I'm sure you're doing that. They have to have workers' comp. They have to, and every state's different. I'm in the Northeast with Joe Allen, so he knows we got a lot of crap up here. But you got to make sure that they're doing that. If your requirement, which it should be, that you have to have concrete breaks before you set to make sure that the compressive strength's at 50% before you set. You got to make sure they're doing that. So your processes have got to go right down to the individuals you hire, subcontract crews, et cetera, and you've got to be in charge. And that's your quality processes. So we do it. A lot of times we're doing a big job for the state police. So we have sub crews in there. But when we do our phase training, we do phase training for offloading trucks. Then we do phase training for steel. Then we do phase training for the roofing. Then phase training. All those employees that they have there have to go and be part of our phase training. So our processes, as far as AC478, anybody that's on that job has to go through our processes, and they have to meet those requirements in order for us to maintain our AC478.
Yeah, and Kevin, this is Joe Kingston with Smith Emery. So we're not a manufacturer. We're actually a testing laboratory, and we consult with a lot of these companies that get the 472 or 473 accreditation. And if they do erection as well, they do 478. So as a natural extension, we help out a lot with them. If a good resource would be your current providers. because a lot of the requirements are very similar in nature, especially the quality manual requirements, such as the management meeting and audits. And you can frame a lot of your procedures on how you subcontract out within your quality manual that you're going to submit in if you go with accreditation. But one of the biggest challenges, as David touched on in his last comment there, is the actual training. A lot of these erection companies, they might have a safety training, but there's more substantial training that's required for the 478 accreditation. So that for your subcontractors is probably going to be one of the bigger hurdles. But as long as you're managing that and implementing that through your process as the project manager for your jobs, you should have no problem maintaining your accreditation with 478.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I did a couple comments on that. I do some assessments with IAS as well, so I can kind of say that this is how some of the look that will come back to not only from your process that you have to apply, Kevin, but as well as how you implement it in practice. Is that if you go through the criteria, you'll see that there is things such as having 25% of your workforce that would be journeyman qualified according to the definition. And your subcontractors shall also maintain that journeyman qualification, that you wouldn't have a subcontractor that had a bunch of untrained employees and no journeyman. So some of those definitions you would have to be aware of and have a procedure and policy in practice that assures that happens with your subcontractors. There will be things that you have to do and adhere to maintain that level of acceptance. So is it possible? Yes, it is. And many people do it. You just have to get your procedures in place. So we can move to the next question. I believe this one is also yours, and you've already kind of explained this, Kevin, about how you operate. But specifically, no, we don't have any sort of design phase or engineering within AC 478. There's no criteria in that. If you read the criteria, it leaves everything with design and engineering on the manufacturer. There are some things within that the statements of not only the criteria, but your own management system needs to specifically state that you will adhere to the manufacturer's explicit instructions and installation requirements. So we, as installers, we don't define how we're going to put it up. We adhere to the manufacturer's requirements. If the manufacturer leaves it open or as a requirement for the installer to determine, then that work does need to take place, such as your erection sequence. The manufacturer never tells us how to do the erection sequence. If they do, we'd follow it. If they don't or leave it open, we determine that and do that in a written manner with a narrative of how that sequence is going to take place, including temporary bracing and other things. So keep that in mind. But as far as the actual design or engineering of the parts and pieces that will be left on site, that is up to the manufacturer. Temporary bracing, we've never been able to get a manufacturer to tackle that one, so that one's on you. And that is part of determining how you will tackle this project, is have a site-specific safety plan, which is also outlined in the criteria of what that definition is, and it does include things such as temporary bracing or erection sequence.
Can I call on Dave Lineback to address his third question, if you don't mind, Dave, just because I know it's a priority for the organization and you're our president. So his question was, do any manufacturers recognize AC 478 as a basis for a certified installer for things like a weather-tight warranty? And if not, is there any chance to lobby them for this or something like that? So if you want to just speak to that a little bit about what our goals are.
Sure. Well, first of all, it's a chicken and the egg. Our goal is exactly that, to have manufacturers, MBMA manufacturers, start recognizing AC 478 as certification for rectors. The question they have, in fairness, is, well, how many do you have? And, so it's, once you have this many, then maybe we'll start looking at it. So we are lobbying them. And we are growing. We've had a great growth period this last year, and there's a lot of interest going forward this year. And it's not only the MBMA that we're lobbying, we're also lobbying AIA and the specification writers that they start putting in there. So if you do any competitive bid work, and sometimes even non-competitive bid work, speculative work, architects and engineers, especially for structural steel, will say that not only the shop, but the structural steel erector has to be ASIC certified. So we're working with them to get certification that says, hey, and you see the language a lot of times that you need to be certified by your MBMA manufacturer. None of them do that. But I am happy to report to you, and some on the call know this, that in Pennsylvania here, there's a public school construction that just went out for bid, nice field house, et cetera. And we had spoken to the architect, and they did write in there that the erector must be AC 478 certified. And that's a public bid. That's prevailing wage, everything. So there's only like probably 4 of us in the area, and that's including Joe Allen, that are AC 478 certified, and the builders are already throwing their hands up. But I'm like, I'm here. And I know some other guys, if you need us, we're here. So, it's momentum. You're getting in on the ground. I always tell builders, get in on the ground floor. Number one, it's going to improve your company, guaranteed. Above everything else, it's going to improve your company. Number two, it's coming. Whether it's the manufacturers that eventually are going to say, in order to be a certified erector for whoever, you need to have this, or whether you start seeing it show up in more specifications, it is coming. That's why we partnered with IAS. You'll see their certifications on all levels in various disciplines in the construction industry. So we're not there yet. We are lobbying them. We will continue to lobby them. And I personally believe in the next 5 years, you'll see it will take one manufacturer to jump on the bandwagon, and then the others will start coming also. So I believe it's coming. I think it's probably 3 to 5 years away.
And specific reference to the IVC element for special inspections, that we've done that. We have not been successful in getting special inspections waived at this point, but we did write a code proposal and went in front of the IVC committee that reviews those. And basically, the time isn't yet, but we are still going to be looking at that in the future if there's anything that's advantageous for us to be involved in on that. So appreciate the question, though, Kevin. Go ahead.
I just wanted to add that I don't think that as far as specific weather tight warranties, that the AC 478 is suited to that, because there are so many variants of insulation systems and all the details for each manufacturer, that's going to remain very manufacturer specific to maintain those warranties. So the manufacturers that require that, we couldn't really broadly put that into the AC 478 because it is so system specific, and because every manufacturer, at least here in the Northeast, is scrambling to get higher and higher RNU ratings and just coming up with all kinds of crazy new ways to bolt the building together. I don't see that very specific part being part of the accreditation.
However, there has been some manufacturers, and I'm just going to say there's been conversations with manufacturers that are considering, and it's going to take some time, to have a higher level warranty that they would offer owners, that they would only be able to get that warranty if the installer was accredited. So that's on the table. There's been discussions. It's tough to say who would adopt that first, but again, once something like that's adopted, many manufacturers jump on the bandwagon and have similar types of things. So that's definitely a potential, but we can't go out and promise that that's going to take place because that's on the manufacturers to decide that. So those were the questions that are on the chat. I haven't seen anything else get added. Is there, oh, go ahead.
I'm going to share my screen because there was a question about fees. Am I sharing the right
Oh.
screen? Which is it just is what it is. But some of you people that are on the line that have questions, those were more big picture questions. How about some more specifics about getting started? And if you're on mute, you got to take yourself off before you get your question out.
I'll just say to the ones that are listening, it all depends for your internal cost, how well organized you are right now. If you have all your processes pretty well organized and they're on paper and they're laid out and that's what you're doing, there's less cost. If all your processes are in your head, and you just do this from project to project, you got to get it on paper, get a policy manual together, put it all down, review it. So there's going to be more internal cost in doing that. But what Jackie and Dan and Sasha were talking about, a lot of those templates are available either through MBCEA or you reach out to other accredited contractors, and you have a great group even on this call who are willing to share their templates with you based on what you're doing. So internal costs is really comes down to how far along you are in your organization currently, and organized you are in your processes already versus I got to sort of start from scratch and get it all together.
Dan, I know you like to go around the room, and I have the master list here, so perhaps I can call people out. Don't be upset with me, people. This is what we do. But Cody is with a company that's been a member for about 10 years now, so I'm super interested in hearing what Cody is thinking about AC478 and where they're at.
Yeah, so we have been a member for a long time. Really never engaged with anything necessarily. You guys probably don't know what we do, but we're a general contractor, design build, Northwest Missouri, Kansas City. Do just a lot of different things to include in-house metal building, detailing, and fabric and erection. So just through changes and an effort to always become a little bit better. The AC478 accreditation has kind of crossed my mind over the last couple of years as something that we could do, just to upskill ourselves, right? So just really no specific questions, just trying to learn about what it is and how it could benefit my guys and my leadership team.
Cody, a couple of quick comments to that. It sounds like you're probably similar to my company. We're a general contractor and we have a lot of different facets of our company as well. Metal buildings is definitely part of it. And we do have identified crews that are assemblers, but we do many other things here. And the same kind of thought processes I had 10 years ago that you're having now. And one of the things I can just say that accreditation for us didn't just solve something for the metal building side of our company. It really improved us as a company across the board of how we look at things and how we prepare for projects and do paperwork. And even on our training side of things, it's made us a much better company and continues to. It's improvement based. The program is. It's not that you come out of the gate as a perfect company and whatever, but there's a lot of improvement in how you look at things and audit yourself and have management meetings with your leadership to pull things together to be better every year or not just based on a yearly basis, but that is as a minimum yearly to do those efforts. But anyway, bottom line is that I think for us, we didn't necessarily look at it more broadly when we got into it, but it turned out much more of a broad-based effort in our whole company. So
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, every year we invest tons of money in training and management training and certifications and this, that, and the other. And we've always just kind of, I guess we've always just kind of self-taught and self-groomed our metal building skills, which worked for a very long time until those older gentlemen, kind of retire. And I'm bringing up some newer fellas who are, very hungry, very smart, very intelligent people. They maybe not have had the 10 years of knowledge to really know, a flashing or a tram condition or an erection sequence. So for us, it's about just putting the process on paper specific to metal building erection and preparation and execution. I think we do a very, very good job with doing it. So we might as well take credit for already, I think, doing a pretty good job.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're looking at the program. I think you'll be a good fit. Like Sasha said from the beginning here, is as you go through this journey and you get on the website, you go to the members only, and you start to dig in, and you start trying to get this understood. When you are kind of at the point where you're ready to cross over that threshold, call Jackie. I hope you all got that message, no matter where you're at in this process, is that if you get too far along and try to dive in too deep and start to rethink the wheel, it can actually be hard on you to do it too far down the road of going in a direction and then finding out that that's all effort that you may not have had to do, or you can simplify your life. But calling Jackie is a good step.
And Dan, on that, Sasha and I blocked an hour next week, January 27th from 4 to 5 Eastern time. It's on the MBCEA website. You can register. Just for a quick run through of the criteria and how to get started. So if anyone wants to register for that, I'm happy to do that. And then if you want one-on-one time after that, or maybe that answers all your questions, we'll take it from there. So.
And that'll be recorded too, right?
Yeah, we can record that. All right, I'm going to move on to Jason. I know you are with a company in Ontario, and I know you were at our last roundtable as well. And I know Ontario is still kind of working through the process. So do you have any questions, concerns? What are your thoughts about where you're at while you're kind of in a holding pattern, waiting for the IAS to kind of come up to speed with Ontario?
Yeah, you sort of we're here to keep our presence in the group. We're very interested in where this is going to lead with the accreditation on the Canadian side of it. So we're just basically hear information again. I'm like you said, we're in a holding pattern. So once we've got that roadmap sort of out there, we can start following it. So that's where we're at today. I had another gentleman was supposed to be in on the call. Unfortunately, we've got some bad weather up here, and he's trying to make his way home. So that's why he was a no-show today.
No worries, and we will have that recording of this, posted, and the whole all of them are in that spot that I showed in the members area.
Absolutely, yeah, that's great.
Perfect, thanks. And we'll do our part as much as we can to keep pushing that forward. I know Jackie's been working on that, so hopefully we have some updates on where we're at with that soon.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're looking forward to getting diving right into this with everybody. So that'd be great.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I just said thank you very much.
Thanks. All right, I'm going to jump to Chris. Chris, I know that you've been on several of our roundtables as well. So where are you guys at?
Well, still, I've been tracking on other projects, so I'm hoping to start jumping into it in the next couple of weeks. But I'm just reviewing documentation with our safety and quality leaders, just making sure that they're aligned and ensuring that we have policies that the organization accepts and is willing to follow, but can also execute as well.
Have you guys had the chance to have that one-on-one with Jackie, or is that not something you've done yet?
No, I had my one-on-one with Jackie, and it was
Oh, you did?
fantastic. I
Okay.
agree. She's a
Good.
great resource. So she definitely got me started rolling down the right direction. It's just a matter of me executing. So,
Gotcha. No, I just wanted to make sure that was something you were working on.
oh,
Thanks,
she's the
Chris.
best. I highly recommend
Yep.
her. So,
And I'm just to what Chris is saying, it's important that all of company leadership be on board with the process. Like this isn't just something that the safety manager, the training manager drives, or the sales guy because he wants to win more projects. This program is designed to become your company culture. So it there needs to be engagement and ownership and participation from all levels. So
Emily, I know other people from your company have been in attendance at past roundtables as well. I think you're also in that Ontario situation. But where are you at in the process while we're kind of tweaking things?
So today is actually basically my first day. I'm normally office admin, and they've asked me to hop on today just to show our presence and everything. I think they're going to be getting me to do a lot of the legwork on the documents side and making sure everything's compliant and whatnot. Um, as far as I know, I don't know a whole lot. So I still have some of that onboarding to do. But I do look forward to getting to know more about it. And I will schedule a one-on-one with Jackie as well. But yeah, that's about it for now.
Thanks for joining us, Emily.
Thanks for having me.
Several of the others I didn't call out are accredited members, which Jackie kind of called out when we started. Joe is on. From we've got two Joes on. Both are accredited. We've got Tucker, David. So I think we might have kind of covered everybody. I think everybody we've heard from everybody. Is there anything else that anybody wants to bring up or question or discuss?
Yeah, one selling point to Cody. This is Joe Kingston from Smith Emery. Is that you mentioned, and what I heard from you is that you had a lot of of that knowledge that kind of retired when some of the older gentlemen retired. And part of this program is that part of your journeyman training is to undergo the Metal Building Institute training series for quality and craftsmanship. So it's going to allow you, as more of your apprentices come up, or laborers come up to the system and become journeymen within your company. If you decide to engage in the program, they're going to go through that training class, and or it's actually a series of classes that they're going to go through, and modules, and it's incredibly beneficial for your company to kind of pass down that. It provides the gap between the no knowledge of your current superintendents or journeymen and those that are coming up into the leadership roles as you grow as a company. So it's extremely useful for at least the feedback from my clients have been that series has been extremely useful for them, and it's something that's going to help you develop your company and kind of grow as a company as well.
Yeah, I think it's a really good fit. Actually, I think it's not only a good fit, but I think it's also very, very good timing for us. We have a very engaged group of um, management leaders and craft employees. So, trying to force it onto a group of people would be very difficult, but the timing suggests that it's appropriate timing.
In the chat, I just dropped the link to the event that Jackie introduced. Consider it like office hours, right? So Jackie's going to be available. It's not necessarily reserved for just one of you, unless only one of you sign up, but it's for anybody who is interested. So she can kind of do a presentation to kind of everyone at once. rather than her one-on-ones, but get everybody kind of organized. So consider it like office hours and register for that if you want to, start meeting with her. Jackie, you have anything more you want to say about that? What your ideas are? I know you kind of mentioned it already. Anything further?
So a lot of what I like to do to get started is to just help you understand the process, like what happens at the site-specific assessment when they come out to your job site. How do you apply to quote, apply to the IAS? Like, how do you fill out that? Um, we have all these documents in the NBCEA area, but what do they actually mean? Like, which ones do you need? How do you use them? So a lot of the first call, I think, is very generic. It's not specific to you. And then as you absorb it, then we can talk more one-on-one, like, well, we call it this, and in our company we do that. Is that the same thing? And 99% of the time, yes, it is. So like Emily, you'll be tasked with some of the paperwork. It would be a good call for you to join in on. Any of you that feel you want to know a little more of the specific details than the broad conversation we have at this meeting. Joe.
Dan, you have any words?
Yeah, I just wanted to find out if there's anything else from anybody on the call that wanted to add anything. If you have anything to add or any further questions.
Jackie, I don't know that I'll be able to get I'd like to get my partner and a couple of somebody else on a general call with you. I don't anticipate that we'll be able to make that particular date that you dropped in the chat.
And that's fine. You shoot me some dates and times and we'll figure that out.
Okay.
As you probably heard, Cody, it sounds like that will be recorded because it is general and it can fit for everybody. So hopefully you are able to find that recording. I'm sure it'll be on the accreditation recording tab there. So, and just on that note, just as to reiterate what Sasha already told us earlier, that there are many good things in those recordings. So they're much formatted the way that we have here, but if you're kind of just still digging in and you want to know more, spend some more time, or like we heard from Emily, that she's kind of just getting started on this and trying to learn more, go through those recordings. There's a lot of good information there that you don't have to try to go figure it out all on your own. So I encourage you to go look at those. And with that, I think I don't have anything further. Happy you guys are on the call. Happy you continue this journey, and happy you're working with Jackie. So yeah, let's keep going after it. And we're here for you. And we really want to see that the roadblocks can be resolved. As we've often found out, that people are sometimes get held up over some pretty small items that are easily resolvable with some conversation. It isn't as tough as what people think it is generally, and it can be done fairly efficiently and get your company on board and get you accredited and start you down the journey of doing continuous improvement. So happy to help you out if there's anything that we can do here. So anything further, Jackie? I think we're good. Sasha?
Nope, we're good. Stephen just joined us, but we're signing off now, Stephen. Thank you for joining us, though.
You're watching the recording. We'll have it soon. Thank you.
All right,
Everybody have a
talk to you
good
later.
day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.